Good afternoon, and welcome to Sip, Savor, and Celebrate. I'm Devin.
I'm Chris, and welcome to our waterside studio for today. As you can tell, we've been filming a few of these. We just want to get a bunch of them out there while it's beautiful and nice. And we saved one of my favorites, Tears of Llorona.
I know you're always talking about this one. But guys, let's start off. Usually I like to cover market price later in the video, but let's start off right now. We're talking that this is a top tier tequila. And what I mean by that is, what were you just telling me?
So when I bought this, it was $279.99 here in Michigan. And that has actually gone up in price since I bought this. It has now gone up $10, $20 more for the minimum state price for this. But it goes into how it's made, and it goes into his way of distilling this. So a couple neat things to note. This is by distiller Garmin Gonzalez, which as you read on the bottle is kind of interesting. He is a descendant of Manuel Gonzalez, who used to be president of Mexico back in 1880, and he learned his craft throughout the whole family and going down. But let's get into how this thing is made. First of all, they use ripened agave that he hand picks. He waits till they're extremely aged.
Right,
so
they're at the right age.
They're ripened perfectly. Then he distills it twice, and then he actually uses...
Sorry, I just picked up on that cue. My bad. Sorry, guys.
Will you open up
my child is running around in the background. If you haven't seen him, Savor, come here.
But yes. So first of all, this is also another highly.
My child, he is a purebred Shiba Inu. He loves to be out with Dad. So. But now that his spotlight is over, back to...
So it's locally sourced there in Jalisco. He uses a low-pressure autoclave to cook it. He uses a screw mill and a roller mill at the same time, one after the other.
He's definitely extracting everything out of that agave he can.
Yes, but he's not using a diffuser to do it.
Thank God.
Now his fermentation is proprietary. He's not letting anybody know how he does as far as the fermentation goes. He is using it without fibers, and he uses stainless steel tanks. But where this is an extra añejo, okay? So where it gets very, very interesting is that this is definitely not going to taste like a normal tequila, because they used American oak barrels that has once housed cognac, sherry, and Scotch barrels.
See, you're talking my language with sherry and Scotch, bro.
You'll notice that we have a little thing over here.
So, guys, we were in the Bahamas, about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and we did pick up some cohibas, and this one is right from Cuba. It is one of my favorites. Well, I can't tell you about how it tastes, but you know, I've been talking about pairing cigars with it for a while. And for those that don't understand the science of a cigar is not meant to inhale and be kept in your lungs. It's meant to change your palate, either for the best or for the negative. A lot of people will pair this with things that have a bitter taste, because the pepper in a cigar or the sweetness in a cigar will balance that out. When we're talking about how a cigar is lit, because this is all, something not many people know, there are a few ways. You can cut the end of it. I'm not a cut fan. You can V it as well. Not really my style. But one thing I think that you agree with is the punch. The punch is my favorite way. It goes right into the cigar, and it lets all that flavor kind of come out right through one spot, so then you can really enjoy it, right?
Okay, yeah, I agree.
And because this is the way that you typically, get a cigar from me, and I've got the cutter in the car, so we've done it both ways.
Before we go into the cigar, I do want to do a tasting on its own.
Oh, of course.
And then we're going to do a pairing with the cigar.
I just want to bring into the science of the cigar
I
before we
appreciate
try
that.
it.
No, I appreciate it.
And you've been riding me for a minute. So, and what I mean by that is, I brought it today.
This is the Christmas present I got him. You've seen the spheres that he got me. This is the Christmas present.
So what is awesome about this, guys, is it is that torch flame out the top, but trust me, this brings a presentation to lighting a cigar. And I saw when I was at the Admiral in Orlando, and I'm like, dude, we gotta get one. So, not to steal away from the thunder of...
So this is an extra añejo. It's been aged in those 3 used barrels from the cognac. Now they do 50% cognac, and then 25-25 for the sherry and the scotch. You're gonna tell right away that this is different.
Dude.
So it is an extra
Excuse
añejo,
me, guys. Excuse me.
They actually age it for 5 years in those 3 separate barrels, and then at the end of the 3. Then they blend it, and then they let it rest, so that way it can all infuse together. It's amazing. So first of all, on the nose,
there's all that oaky and that sherry, and
it's almost as sweet smelling as a cognac. You know,
I would agree.
I would
agree
that right away. It's sweet. There is it doesn't overtake the agave because it's still a tequila.
Correct. The agave is still right there, but the agave is playing on it, like, like, come play with me, come drink me. You know, this will be something you can enjoy and sit for a long period of time.
I agree. So on the nose, I do get the agave, but I get spice. I get spice.
I agree.
Oh. Like baking spices, and it's just
very, 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 very subtle on the end citrus.
I don't get that myself. I'm glad you do, but I don't. I just get spice and a little bit. I get the vanilla from the oaking of the barrel. I get God, it is like a nice sweet and spicy. Oh my God, like a cake, like a spice cake. It's awesome. It's amazing. All right,
it is exactly what I would talk about pairing a cigar with.
Now that taste is way different than it smells, isn't it?
I'm trying not to swish it too much because our last video picked up me swishing. So now I'm self-conscious, y'all. But keep in mind, when you're trying things, you're supposed to, pass all your senses, and then actually you're supposed to spit it back out. That's how you're supposed to try whiskeys and tequilas and coffees. That's how you get the most authentic flavor. So when you hear me swishing, that's what I'm going for, is to make sure I hit every palate of the tongue, from sweet to bitter to creamy. Those are all there. So that's what I'm looking for. So
before we pair it with the cigar, what I'm getting on the flavor palette is I get pepper. So I get the pepper from the alcohol. It doesn't taste like alcohol, but I get the pepper from there. I get cooked agave, and then I get almost a whiskey, like a whiskey flavor to it. That's probably from the
agave,
scotch.
right, is right there. I would tell you that the sherry shines through because it's kind of that light, bright note in the flavor.
Okay.
And still that citrus. That citrus comes behind, and it's kind of like, hey,
I feel a little bit
what's going on?
The citrus effervescence, I guess you might even
right,
say
and it's not crazy strong like some of the others, but it is there.
Right, yeah. Want to talk about legs and tears? Oh, man, has this got it. There we go. Now let's get this up. Let's see what the difference flavor comes from pairing it with a cigar. first and foremost. Now, another thing, Tears of Llorona, there's also a story behind it in Mexican lore. The Tears of Llorona is they used to say that if you don't behave, Llorona is going to come and get you. She's going to be crying and coming to get you. That's loosely translated, but there is a whole lore behind it. Kind of very interesting story. I invite everybody to go and look up the story. It's one of my favorites. As you can see, I've already... And by the way, I know it is more expensive. One thing I forgot to say, this is actually 1 liter. It's not your standard 750. It's actually 1 liter of alcohol, which is really nice.
So let's talk about the cigar first, so then we can understand what we're pairing with this. So this is a medium body cigar, which means you're getting the tobacco flavor, but this one has a very, very subtle sweetness and not so much spice to it. So
is that's the Cuban one, right?
This is the Cohiba, yes. This
Okay.
is the Cuban.
Okay.
And so it dances very nicely in the middle to front of that tongue because of the sweetness. So, I mean, obviously I've already smoked on it. I know that it's already covering the palate. So, cheers. Oh my God.
Wow, that does change the taste of the
Butterscotch and super sweet, and that agave is still right there, kind of front of the palate, and finishes chocolatey. That chocolate on the back, guys,
That does open that up. It's totally a different flavor.
is amazing.
I get the butterscotch. I get the vanilla. I still get those baking spices, which to me is just one of my favorite things about it, and extra yay.
I apologize because you're downwind.
I see this. As long as that's the thing that's downwind for me, okay? And we're good to go. I enjoy it. Ultimately, life is too short. Enjoy yourself. Have a glass of tequila. Sip it. Don't shoot it.
And
Again, because of the price, I don't recommend doing this like every day. But when you want to have a good celebration or something wonderful happened in your life, or you just want to relax and have a great after dinner cigar and a little sip of something nice, I do recommend Tears of Llorona.
Oh, by far. Actually, my rating, and I don't ever give out hundreds, but this would rate 100 for me. Like, this is so far the top. But
I rated it in the 90s myself. I didn't get it 100, but I definitely got into the 90s on Tequila Matchmaker. And on Tequila Matchmaker, it is like, it's just about 90 on across the board. It is one of the best made tequilas in my opinion. Wonderful, and I want everybody out there to have a great day. And remember, if you can't get out and get this every single day, I can understand, because I can't either, but I still want you to always sip, savor, and celebrate.
Happy Easter, guys.
That's right.